April 30th, 2015. From Sam Harris to Noam Chomsky. Noam, I'm sorry to say that I have now lost hope that we can communicate effectively in this medium. Rather than explore these issues with genuine interest and civility, you seem committed to litigating all points, both real and imagined, in the most plodding and accusatory way. And so, to my amazement, I find that the only conversation you and I are likely to ever have has grown too tedious to continue. Please understand that this is not a case of you having raised important challenges for which I have no answer. To the contrary, I would find that a thrilling result of any collision between us, and as I said at the outset, I would be eager for readers to witness it. Rather, you have simply convinced me that engaging you on these topics is a waste of time. Apologies for any part I played in making this encounter less enlightening than it might have been. Sam.
From Noam Chomsky to Sam Harris. Very glad to see that we are terminating this interesting non-interchange with a large measure of agreement. I agree with you completely that we cannot have a rational discussion of these matters, and that it is too tedious to pretend otherwise. And I agree that I am litigating all points, all real, as far as we have so far determined, in a plodding and accusatory way. That is, of course, a necessity in responding to quite serious published accusations that are all demonstrably false, and as I have reviewed, false in a most interesting way. Namely, you issue lectures condemning others for ignoring basic questions that they have discussed for years, in my case, decades, whereas you have refused to address them and apparently do not even allow yourself to understand them. That's impressive. There's also no other way to pursue your various evasions of the basic question that arises right at the outset of the passage of mine that you quoted. No need to run through this again, but the plodding review makes it clear that you simply refuse to answer the question, perhaps not surprisingly. I'll put aside your apologetics for the crimes for which you and I share responsibility, which frankly I find quite shocking, particularly on the part of someone who feels entitled to deliver moral lectures. And I'll also put aside your interesting feeling that you see no challenge when your accusations are refuted point by point, along with a demonstration that you are the one who refuses to address the basic questions that you charge me with ignoring, even after you have learned that I had dealt with them quite specifically before you wrote, and in fact for decades. It would also be interesting if, someday, you decide actually to become concerned with God-intoxicated sociopaths, most notably, the perpetrator of by far the worst crime of this millennium who did so, he explained, because God had instructed him that he must smite the enemy.
From Sam Harris to Noam Chomsky. Noam, I'm afraid I won't take the bait, apart from asking the obvious question. If you're so sure you've acquitted yourself well in this conversation, exposing both my intellectual misconduct with respect to your own work and my moral blindness regarding the actions of our government, why not let me publish it in full so that our readers can draw their own conclusions? Sam.
From Noam Chomsky to Sam Harris. The idea of publishing personal correspondence is pretty weird, a strange form of exhibitionism, whatever the content. Personally, I can't imagine doing it. However, if you want to do it, I won't object.
From Sam Harris to Noam Chomsky. Understood, Noam. I'll let you know what I do. Sam. May 1st, 2015. From Sam Harris to Noam Chomsky. Noam. I've now read our correspondence through and have decided to publish it. www.samharris.org. I understand your point about exhibitionism, but I disagree in this case. You and I probably share 1 million readers who would have found a genuine conversation between us extremely useful, and I trust that they will be disappointed by our failure to produce one, as I am. However, if publishing this exchange helps anyone to better communicate about these topics in the future, our time won't have been entirely wasted. Sam.